Do you need me to review it and summarize it, or do you feel ready? You want to move on? You want to review it and summarize it? Yes?
Yeah, a little review is always good.
Okay, let's just do a 10-minute or 5-minute review. So let's go all the way back. Level one. What are the principles of level one? The basic principles. And I'm going to talk about principles a lot today, so it's good that we're looking at it again. First
Curiosity.
principles. First principles. Yes, good. Curiosity. And let's say what it means.
Hypnotic
Curiosity.
fascination.
Yeah, hypnotic fascination, which means do what action-wise?
Listen.
Yeah, and it,
In- Investigate.
investigate or interview is the other word. Exactly. So curiosity is linked to the hypnotic interview, which is the heart of conversational hypnosis, which is what's the problem? Why is it a problem? Why is this problem, something you're bringing to hypnosis? What do you want instead? All of that is hypnotic fascination and curiosity built into the problem interview. It doesn't mean you can't use it in other ways, but that's the original way. What are we looking for when we're doing the interview? There's two things. There's two
UN.
UMs.
main UMs, unconscious moments. Yes. First thing we're looking for is unconscious moments. Second thing we're looking for is just think about it. You don't need to look at your notes. What are you doing when you're interviewing? You're investigating what?
The root problem.
Yeah, you're exactly correct. You're just investigating the problem. Why does it exist? What's it creating? What is the side effect? Who's affected by this? All of the stuff related to why the client believes this is a problem for them. Whether that's true or not is not really interesting, but it is the purpose of the interview. Hey, Jill.
Morning.
Welcome back. We just started. We did some review to start. And actually, we're still doing reviews, so we haven't quite started. So you're right on time. So we're talking about level one is curiosity. Out of the curiosity is the hypnotic interview. Out of the hypnotic interview are two results: unconscious moments and data about the client. That's what we're doing only at the outset. What's the purpose of finding out what the client's unconscious moment is?
Tying the knots.
Yeah, exactly. We find out if there's a knot there. If they give you a conscious answer, what do you do?
Ignore it.
Yeah, I mean, ignore it, maybe pay a little attention, but dig in deeper where you're being shown is the unconsciousness, not the consciousness. Okay, so then we add a layer in level two. What's the layer we added first? So remember my little stacking, because in level three, this is going to be very important. Bottom layer, I have to do a slide, which I haven't made yet. Bottom layer, curiosity, investigate problem, unconscious moments, bottom layer. Second tier of the cake is level two,
Motivation.
motivation. And why, Gilles, do we have to add that?
Because it opens a door to choice and change.
Beautiful answer. Exactly. Because choice exists where the problem is not the whole focus. So if we avoid motivation, or if you don't take level two, you're kind of like missing 80% of the project because you can untie a knot all day long, but if the client has no idea what to do at that time or energy, they're going to find it again. And by the way, that's also why level three is important, because that void is very important to focus on. So that's why we're going to have to do one more level of things. So without motivation, there's no fuel to change. That's the bottom line. And the nice thing is, if somebody books a discovery call with you, it's implied that they're motivated, because why else would they have done that? So there's some motivation there somewhere. No chance that there's zero, unless somebody else forced them to make the appointment, in which case they're not a good candidate, and you'll find that out right away. Okay, so you add the motivation, which is fuel, momentum. Also, it adds the joy. Also, it adds the, things to enjoy in the conversation. And what does that create in terms of the tone? The tone, yeah,
Excitement.
possibility. Excitement, exactly. What's the tone of problem solving? What's the tone of level 1?
Like an inquisition, pressure.
Yeah, exactly. To me,
Kind of
it's,
meh.
yeah,
It's
exactly. It
kind
has
of like,
it's that fire slide to me that I have, which is like the whole thing is a little bit like, so I have a little Harry Potter vibe to it, like, problems go away, and it's like, ah, the people are just like a little bit like, oh, that was a lot. So yeah, it has the man feel. It has a little inquisitive, inquisitional feel, not inquisitive, but a little bit too direct and too edgy. Then you add the motivation to it, and it's like, oh, the reason we're doing that is so that we can dance in this bigger space. So to me, it goes from black and white to Technicolor. Like it goes from black and white problem solving to like full spectrum glitter. Oh, we can talk about anything in this person's life and still get to the problem anyway. So that's the other benefit of the motivation is it gives you all kinds of things to talk about, which lead to unconscious moments, which I did not tell you that in level 1, that there are other ways to get to the unconscious mind. And they don't all have to be like through problems. They can be through joy. They can be through what did you do? They can be through tell me more about that. So everything becomes hypnotic at that point. That's when you become a really standout type of therapist because nobody knows what you're doing anymore. You're just talking and everything seems to be working. Why is that? Because everything is hypnotic in the end. Everything is hypnosis. But now you know that it doesn't have to be hypnotic just because I start saying, what's the problem? No, as soon as they walk in the door, it's already hypnosis. Oh, hi, nice to see you. What's going on? Already hypnotic. My room is full of all these weird objects. As soon as they sit down, everybody is like, oh, your office. This is already hypnosis. And then they ask me something like, oh, what is that? Where'd you get that? And I start saying something. It's already hypnotic. Everything's hypnotic in here. That's because of the motivation piece. If you didn't have that, it wouldn't be that. You would be stepping in and out of regular conversation and what's the problem? Okay, so now add to motivation. Now we're going to step it up even more. What else is in that second tier? Now we're getting more specific and more speedy. This is very important for speed.
Categories?
Exactly. Okay, so now tell me more about that. You're doing a great job. These are the principles exactly. I'm very happy that it's coming out this way because it seems to me that teaching it in modules is really showing you guys that you can just layer and layer and it's getting easier and easier. So you're right, motivation, then categories. Why categories?
It gives us a neighborhood to be in.
Perfect word. That's the right word. And why do you need a neighborhood?
Because if I don't have a neighborhood, I'm kind of just looking at the whole map going, what the fuck?
Exactly. It's just a lot of data. Like, let's be honest. And by the way, sometimes you say, what's the problem? And 15 minutes later, they stop talking. Isn't that true? Or sometimes you'll say, what's the problem? You'll get 15 pieces of information which seem to have a scattershot effect. And so the reason for categories is if you're new, or even if you're not new and you feel like, what the hell was that? That was a lot. Instead of freaking out, instead of being like, oh, fuck, what am I curious about? I'm curious about 15 things, which you could do that. That would work too. But you could also say, what is the dominant field that that person just shared with me? And how do I move them across that bridge? That's it. So you can pause at that moment and assess it. Did they just judge themselves? Did they just present a series of beliefs? Did they just share their past results, which have convinced them that some X and Y is not possible? Like, what kind of client is this? What kind of problems have they generated? And what neighborhood do they live in? When you know that about your niche or about a specific client, you get faster at choosing what kind of question to ask next. What else about the categories? Does it have to be one category at a time? Like, what
No,
do
you
you
can
do?
have different categories.
What do you do then? What if it's judgment and past results, which often go together? What do you do then?
Trust your gut.
Yeah, Trust your gut, go with your
Or
intuition, or
which
experiment.
is more prominent, which
Yeah.
feels bigger.
Or just let them coexist. I mean, it's not mutually exclusive. Also, you'll notice that if you go ahead and read through level 2 questions, many of them are also on the level 1 sheet. So it's not like I made them mutually exclusive. I mean, I was going to look at the level 2 sheet with you. Who benefits from this? Who is this harmful for? Is this your belief? Are you really ready for this? Those could fit fine in level 1 as well. So they all cross together. Like there's not discrete categories when we're talking about the quantum field. Everything is a crossover. These are just concepts to help you to distill it in your own mind so that it becomes a skill instead of a guess. Okay, now add on to categories. What's the next level of clarity? And do you see why this is a master's course now, an advanced course? Because all of those things are happening behind the scenes in your complex mind, which is doing the work. What happens next after categories? It's like a kaleidoscopic effect, right? Depends on how far back you go, what perspective you get. So it's like having zoom on all the time. Like you can zoom right in, you can zoom out a little, you can decide where you're gonna go. Okay, now add another layer.
Unconscious payoff, clashing realities.
Hmm.
You're doing great, yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Root cause
Root cause.
and double bind hypothetical. Why did I, and that's not an exhaustive list, but those are the major ones. Why did I add those there? And what are they? What kind of ideas are those?
They're like our blind spots.
Yeah, they're blind spots the clients all carry. Exactly. That's a good way to look at it. They're conceptual constructs that help you to understand why the client is stuck there. Why is the client caught here? Because they believe two bullshit ideas that don't agree with each other. Okay. And you might just think that as an instinct. Like very often I just have that instinct to ask, well, is that true? Like people say like, well, I don't deserve that. Okay, well, do you or don't you? So I don't think to myself at that moment, oh, that's a belief. I should ask them to clarify that. I don't go through that extra step. It's just obvious to me that that's what it is. But if you want to put words to it, you could say, oh, it's a clashing reality. That betrays a belief, which is in the category. That leads me to facts. So you can explain out why you do each thing that you do. I hope that also gives you confidence that you're not just bullshitting people and making shit up. Like it's so easy to think, oh, I'm a charlatan, this is just like all made up in my head. But it's not. Go back to each of the demos yesterday and watch how I gave you an analysis of every single step. But if I know what's happening at every step, and if it's a technical thing, it's not just a haphazard guess. Well, if it's not a haphazard guess, then how the hell did we come up with all that? That's why it's expensive. Because go ahead and try to get someone else to do that or try to explain it to somebody. It's not as easy as it looks at all, is it? Now we're back to, is it easy? No, it's really not that easy. It's not that easy.
Can I pause you for a second? You said explain that to them when you're talking about the clashing realities, blind spots, stuff like that. You go ahead and call that out directly to your client.
I don't name it to them because
Okay.
all of the background is irrelevant to them. Like it doesn't matter to them if they know that's a regression. Look, that just happened because they don't know what that is. It's too technical. But you know, and you knowing makes you know what to do next.
Yeah.
But
Okay,
yeah,
got
but the answer is also yes, you would call it out if you hear it. Like I heard you have a clashing reality yesterday, which was like, I'm gonna make 100 grand working 5 hours a week. I'm like, well, that's nonsense. Like that's just actually unfactually true. So I did call it out. I said to you, like, well, how are you gonna do that? Like, have you really considered it? So I heard the clashing reality. Jody heard the clashing reality. We questioned you about it. Did we teach you what it was? No. Is it relevant? Not really. But it helped you to understand, oh, my subconscious better rethink this. And I bet you $1 million, I don't even need to bet because I know I'm right, when you left that call yesterday, your subconscious started to be like, oh, so that's what I need to do to make the 100 grand. Can I do that now? Probably your mind said, no, I can't do it right now. When can I do it? So now your mind starts to like come up with a plan. That's hypnosis. It's nothing more than that. People think it's magic. People think it's fucking some fucking shady shit. It's not. It's your mind having a possibility now to consider what it wants to do in a clear way instead of in a confounded and bullshit way. That's why it's the no bullshit method. Because I took out all the bullshit, both in your own head and in my methodology.
Yeah. What did you say? Oh, yesterday you said you're a realist. You're a realist. And that, yeah, this method is very attached to that thought. You know,
Except
helping
for
people.
except for the weird thing about it is it's the most realist and the most idealistic. That's why I love it, by the way. Like that's why I'm built for this. That's why it's a dream job for me because I can't find a job like that anywhere where I can be like fully in the real, fully in the spirit, fully in the hey, let's get down to reality, and also dream the biggest dream for yourself, believe the biggest thing you want, put all of the confidence and effort you can into your own life. It's really hard to hold those two things together. And by the way, all my life I thought I would be a therapist, but I could never sign up for it. I mean, I have so much education, it's ridiculous, right? But I could just never bring myself to go in that direction because I was like, I just don't care about people's problems. I just don't want to sit there and listen. I can't be the receptacle of people's garbage. So I always avoided it. I'm serious. Then I found this and I was like, oh, this is a way I can have that same impact and that same entry point without being the collector, the trash collector. So to me, this is like the answer to a prayer or to a dream that I've always had. And the fact that it connects the beyond with the now and the tragedy of life with the possibility of life, like that's the truest expression of what I believe. And that's why I'm so like able to carry that torch. So to me, it's both. It's realism and it's also like possibility. And I'm gonna like sell you the hell out of that for the next 3 hours today. And if you don't believe in this ideal possibility thing over here, you won't have a great practice either. That's why I'm teaching today what I'm teaching, which is have a bigger dream, which seems like a cheesy bullshit class, but actually it's extremely important to making big money in this business. Because at the end of the day, why are people calling me? Why are people hiring me? Because they really believe that I have a connection to something that they can't find. Well, what is that? It's something like spirit, love, joy. Otherwise, they would pick an armchair therapist. So that's what I'm going to show you today about like how I cultivate my big dream and how I cultivate my faith in people's possibilities. Because it's really like a cornerstone of the sales being successful, and it has very little to do with actually performing the sessions. That's why it's a whole different part of the course. So I like that you said that. It's like hardcore realism, but it's also hardcore big dreams. And it's also, as we were texting last night, Melanie, it's the most ninja thing you've ever done and also the sweetest, softest thing you've ever done. Like another thing that I love about it. It's like so fucking crazy how hardcore it is. I'm gonna take your problem away in 2 hours. Watch me. It's like super magical, but also it's gonna feel so warm and fuzzy and safe. So it's a lot of interesting dynamics going on here that most people can't hold on to all in one experience. And I hope all of those answers are continually telling you why it's expensive. And I hate even saying it's expensive because it's not. It's not that expensive at all when you think about everything I just said. Who else is doing that? Who else knows how? Who else gives you that venue in your life to see the whole? Who else can offer you that conversation? And it doesn't even matter how great your delivery is. Like I've been watching one of the students is posting clips from her. Like some of it is it's not fully developed yet, but it's still working just fine because the questions are so far out that people are excited to answer them. So it doesn't matter where you begin and how it goes. It matters that it's original and different.